This line, Timmy Pritzker.
Thank you, Arshia, for leading us tonight, and to my good friends, to Moen and Tariq and Moon, thank you very much, and to all of you for spending your evening doing something very important, which is paying attention to what your leadership will be in the state of Illinois and being engaged. So very, very important. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. So I want to say a few very important things that come from my heart about what it is that I believe and what it is that I think we share in common, all of us. Now, I know there are 500,000 Muslims in the state of Illinois. Yes, and it is important that people recognize the contributions, the very important contributions that you make to the life and culture of the state of Illinois. And I will recognize that as governor because you are such an important part of the state. Now, I think that we need a governor who stands with you and with all of the communities across the state of Illinois, many of them who have been forgotten and have been left out. And I want to say in particular that I want to help you and this community thrive by helping to build up the educational opportunities, by making sure that we have an expansion of healthcare in the state of Illinois. And we have got to create jobs. Jobs. We have not seen jobs here for too long. Now, some of you have been very engaged in helping to create jobs already for this state. You know, 2/3 of all of the jobs that get created in the state of Illinois are created by small businesses and startup businesses. And I know how important your community has been in helping to do that. And I want to be a governor who doesn't just stand for bringing big businesses to create jobs in the state. We need that, of course. But we need a governor who's going to stand up for small businesses who do not have an advocate. You really don't. Their big businesses have lobbyists in Springfield that stand up for them. But we need a governor who's going to stand up for the real job creators in the state, and those are small business people, and often created by immigrants and by people who are first generation, who come to this country with the drive and determination and creativity to do something great. And I just want to say to all of you who have started businesses and who are growing businesses, thank you, and I stand with you and on your side. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say something important here about, first, it's my honor to have the support of AMVO. Thank you so much, Judge, and thank you to all of you about your endorsement means a lot to me for a lot of reasons, and your support here tonight means a lot to me for a lot of reasons. But here's the most important one. I plan to be a governor who stands up against Donald Trump and his Islamophobia. We need to protect the people of Illinois. And we do not today have a governor who does that. The governor of the state of Illinois today seems utterly silent in the face of the bigotry coming out of the White House. And I just don't think that's good enough. Silence isn't good enough. We need a governor who, when there are utterances by the President of the United States against the Muslim American community, I will be standing with you and fighting back. All right. And I have said, we passed in the state of Illinois the Trust Act. You've heard of the Trust Act. But there was a provision of the Trust Act that didn't get passed. I want to make sure we pass it. here's what it said. It said that if, God forbid, the President of the United States issues a requirement that we have some sort of Muslim registry, that here in the state of Illinois, we will not comply. And not only that, but even if we aren't able to pass that in the state of Illinois, as your governor, if they require a Muslim registry, I will be the first in line to sign up as a Muslim. And I will support every Illinoisan to do the same. Now, I want to say a few other things. You know, I'm so fortunate that in the 2015 and 16 elections, I stood with many of you standing up against Donald Trump. And unfortunately, we didn't win. But I'm proud to have been out there fighting, because he shouldn't be our president. And he proves it every single day, but I knew it, and you knew it, before he ever got elected. And that's why I'm the only candidate running for governor who went to multiple states knocking on doors and phone banking and raising money and giving money to make sure that we fought hard to defeat Donald Trump. And when we didn't, and when I got out of the fetal position the day after the election, I renewed my commitment, and my wife renewed her commitment to the fight, so that when this president issued that travel ban, you remember, a year ago, January, I was out there at O'Hare Airport that very first night, protesting and making sure that people knew where I was. And I was so proud that there were a number of young lawyers that were there on that very same night at O'Hare. I got to meet many of them. They were there to stand up for the detainees, to represent them. That night, you remember, there were about a dozen people who had arrived at O'Hare Airport, and they weren't being allowed out of the ICE detention. And there were lawyers who came volunteering to help. And they sat at a table, you know, talking to the ICE officials and calling in to find out how they could represent those people. And as I walked around to introduce myself, I found out that a program that I funded at Northwestern University had actually created their skills and brought them there that night to find the I'm very proud of them. Now, we don't just have a fight behind us, we have a fight ahead of us. And we all must stand together. But the fight begins here in 2018. We need to make sure that we're electing people to public office that stand with you, that stand up for people who have been left out and left behind, people who are being discriminated against by this president. And we need people who will stand up to this governor and make sure that he is not allowing the president to do what he wants to do in the state of Illinois. So what do we need to do in 2018? 2018 may be the most important election ever. Now, I know you've heard that before. We all have. It seems like every election is the most important election ever. But I kid you not, 2018 really is the most important election we've ever had, because it is our first opportunity to send a message and to send our very best to fight the fight against Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. We need to elect new congresspeople. In the districts represented by Republicans that are standing with Donald Trump, they need to be replaced. We need new congressmen in those districts. And this is very important, and I'm not just saying this in a selfish fashion, we have to beat the man that is sitting in the governor's mansion today who simply says it's okay for Donald Trump to do what he is doing to the people of Illinois. Let's go defeat Bruce Rauner in 2018. And then we all of us together, we must then march together through 2019 and into 2020 to do what we all know we must do. We must get rid of this racist, Islamophobic president, right?
All right.
I will stand with you in that endeavor. But I want to remind you how hard it's going to be in 2018, because I know people are saying, well, gee, look at all of the enthusiasm, because people are angry and upset about Donald Trump. And look at how Bruce Rauner has only a 30% approval rating in the state of Illinois. So it sounds like he must be easy to beat. Well, you know, there was another man with a 30% approval rating who ran in 2016, and he got elected, and that was Donald Trump. And he did it in the same way that Bruce Rauner intends to try to do it in 2018. There's only one way that a man who has no record of achievement, as Bruce Rauner has not, only one way that a man who has done nothing for working families all across this state to win. There's only one way that a man who is not standing up for the people of color in this state, for minority communities, there's only one way that he can win, and that's to trash the Democrats. That's what Donald Trump did in 2016, and that's what they're going to try to do in 2018. And the Koch brothers right-wing network is going to come work for Bruce Rauner. They're already doing it. And their intention is to trash everybody on the Democratic side, no matter what. I'm experiencing it now. And I can tell you, I can take it. And ladies and gentlemen, we will win. We will beat Bruce Rauner. But I need your help. So I ask you, are you ready for a fight?
Yes.
I mean, are you ready for a fight?
Yes.